Hello Blood Bowl fans, and I guess hype for the ADEnglish Invitational because I'm having my first spin game against One30 right now. I decided that for the spin games I would spin in each of the 4 leagues that are part of the Invitational. That's the ReBBL League, the ReBBL Rookie League, the ICBBL, and Mad Academy. I also chose one opponent that is a challenge from each of the 4 leagues based on the opinion of some of the members of each league respectively. Andy's for ICBBL I chosen myself, my own free will, because I know he's a good coach, but the rest I've chosen people based on recommendation mostly. So One30 is somebody who I don't have a lot of experience with, but I've been told he's a very good coach, and we're going to have the first spin match against him. My invitational team, the Norse team, are taking on One30's Humans. And I decided to take the Yeti in the end. I went back and forth on taking the Yeti, but, well, I took him, so Cuddles is part of the team. He's not called Cuddles here, though. So, let's have a look then. Coin flip. The coin flip went the way of the Norse, and I chose to kick. So I'm kicking to One30. And I will say One30 was a fantastic guy. I do have experience of him in the All-Star League. He runs the ReBBL Rookie All-Star League, and I do have experience with him through that, at least through talking. But we've never actually played, so this is our first game. And I took him deadly seriously, because people warned me that he was a good coach. So we have our serious face on while playing this game. To be honest, it's the first game I felt that I actually played quite well in a very long time, but let's see if I actually did when we're watching this replay back. I've gone for a fairly central setup, just kind of ready to counteract no matter what One30 does, and that's been kind of my playstyle the whole way through this game, just keeping it nice and open so I can respond to whatever. And that's an interesting start. Get the ref. We're going to have some fouling apparently. I think that helps the humans more than it helps me. Fouling is just generally a better strategy for humans, I think, than Norse. Just because it's slightly easier for them. Well, it's slightly easier for me to get people down, but it's slightly easier for them to actually break armor. So they can actually remove the team slightly easier than I can remove theirs. I'm kind of hoping that One30 uses the fouling though, because I can use it against him and hopefully play with the ball more. But we'll see. One thing I'll say as well, I haven't played humans in a very long time, against or as them, so I kept forgetting that these pieces are actually strength 2 as opposed to strength 3. Same with Norse, I haven't played Norse in a while, so it was a little bit of a rust-shaking game. Hopefully for the next 3 games I'll be even more of a challenge. And Ogre is boneheading already, that's not so bad really, doesn't affect the game too much at the moment. And One30's done a pretty good job of picking up the ball, and we are going to get a foul in from the catcher. There's a piece over here that's good for fouling, so why not? That's a break, just a stun, and no referee. That's a bad sign, more fouling to come. That's good though, it's showing that One30 is willing to play this game, meaning that he is going to clump players up, so I'm going to try and use that against him if I can. I'm also going to foul back though, because it'd be stupid not to. Though I'm not really too worried about the results, I'm more worried about showing him I'm not afraid to do it back, basically. And I'm going to clump my team right up, because the ball is over here anyway. I kind of want to force it that way, so I'm going to send my entire team this way to deal with the foul. And I'm hoping that One30 actually scores pretty quickly. And there's the foul. Stun for a stun, no referee. We're fair so far. And try and dodge out this piece, he's going to get punched anyway, but he hits the ground, so never mind. Right, One30 kind of has to set up over here now. I give him way too much space, he has to use it. If he really is a good player, so I'm kind of testing that theory at the moment. And it does look like he is setting up his screen down on my right flank, which is very sensible play, especially if the ball is looking to go here. And that was a reroll of a bonehead, which was a bit of a surprise, but it worked out, so fair enough. I did give him that punch for free. I was wanting to see as well if he was going to take the bait, and he did. So we've still got quite a lot of the team over here, meaning that I can force an early score. If not actually stop the score altogether, but more likely I can force an early score. So that would be the plan here. It's pretty good defensive play from 130 though. It's pretty difficult to break this down, no matter what I do, so it's giving me only the force to score strategy, not really the take ball away strategy. And we're fouling the Yeti. Still just a stun. Yeah, that's pretty good. Attack play, good positioning, team in two little groups, and I can't really stop the ball, so it's good. The only option I have is to force score. It will take me 2 turns regardless, so he's going to have 1 turn of stalling, but after that he's not going to have much of a choice because the whole team is coming down on him now. Try and do some damage to a blitzer, but it's not very likely, and Yeti needs to, not Yeti, this guy needs to come out and finish off the screen. There we go. So I'm going to force 130 to rearrange his team according to my defense, but realistically he's scoring next turn. He's got too many players for me to really get the ball off him. If he does score on turn 4, it does give me a very good chance to counterattack, so we're probably looking at a 1-all half, at least that's the hope, and then going into my drive that gives me the clear advantage in the game, so that's kind of what the play was here. Again, a pretty good attacking position from 130, and considering he's stunned this Ulfarana, he can actually use this turn just to stay here out of the way, which he's probably going to do. No, never mind. We did score. That's fair then. And we scored prematurely. Anyway, that's fair. That's a fair score. He didn't really have many options. It would have been risky stalling even if he did stall, so good play from 130. Well done. 1-0. But much earlier than you'd like, I'm sure. I don't quite think the intention was to go on to full-out attack mode as the humans. I think he did it mostly as a reaction to what I did, so I put him exactly where I wanted him, in theory. Though he could leave a comment below saying that he knew what I was doing, I don't know. It was difficult to tell, to be honest. I'm going for a screening setup on defense. Fair setup, has a good chance of success. It's been tested many times. He's also brought the blitzer back in, so I can't surf him. Same with the other blitzer. Well, I can surf him, but not this turn. And I'm not really too worried about surfing, to be honest, even though I'm playing as Norse. I'd rather win the game. We're going to go for a pretty loaded lineup. And the reason is basically so, as Norse, something that I quite like to do actually is to get myself into a position where I can rearrange them no matter how I want to from the start. So I can keep pretty good, geez, second get the ref. That's 2 bribes for siege. Basically the way I play Norse, I like to play a very pitch control game where everything that happens on the pitch is because I've set it up that way. That's the way I like to play them. And I think I did it pretty well in this game, so he's going more forward than he needs to be fair. I'm going to lock off both sides, but I'm actually going to keep a focus more on this side, if I remember rightly. I think I chose this side. And considering that my blitz is here, I almost definitely chose this side. I'm not afraid to say it's how I often play. I wouldn't say always, but very often. I force aggression on one side while actually planning to use the other side. As you can see, I'm being more strategic with the way I position pieces here. I'm not getting the ball this turn because I need GFI, it's not worth it. Haven't had to use a reroll yet, so not too worried about that. And the runner can move into a bluff position, hopefully forcing most of the humans this way. And immediately one of the key pieces from over here has come over to deal with that runner. The runner is not actually the target of the ball, at least this time. Though, if 130 gives me a chance to use the runner, I will. Something that I also like to do. And we are coming for security, just in case I do manage to fail the pickup. And it's an interesting dodge. He's left the rest of his team out on the outside. I think he can kind of see what I'm doing, so he hasn't overcommitted to this side, but he's still committed more of his team this side than this side, so I can still use the same basic idea here. What you're going to see here is that I'm going to screen off these pieces so they can't come back after I pick up the ball. If I pick up the ball. And he has left me the runner free as well, so I could potentially use him. I actually slightly screwed it up though. The idea was to get the ball here and maybe do something with one of these pieces in the end, but I actually realized that the strategy wasn't what I thought it was. The strategy was actually to get the ball out here and run up, but I decided it wasn't a good idea partway through it, so I changed to a screening off these pieces, which was plan B anyway. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm still going to keep this opportunity open, but I'm mostly focusing on keeping these pieces locked in position, as well as this piece that I've just lined up. The Yeti wild animaling is a bit of a problem, but it's not a huge problem. It's pretty hard for anything to get through to the ball at the moment. And it looked like I did that really quickly, but I took most of my turn to actually figure that out, because I realized as soon as I picked up the ball too early. I should have done all of this moving before I picked up the ball. And 130's actually given me a nice little invite here by sending his whole team this way. My team's already kind of screening off this side. He's actually made it a little bit easier for me at this point in time, even with this dodge through the middle. That was a little bit brave. Apparently it was a homage to the richest tea. I don't know the richest tea well enough to comment, but I'll take 130's word for it. And dodging isn't really working for either side at the moment. I think I've only tried one, but still, that failed as well. And he has this strange habit of letting all my players stay free. Oh, we're having a tree game again. So because all my players are free, I can actually reposition as I like, and he's leaving two big gaps, so I can actually make my way through. And slightly miscalculated that. I should have been one more to the right, so I didn't have to deal with the intercept, but never mind, it worked. So it was messy, but I'll take it. Also should have moved these two players first, really, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them. And Yeti wild animals again, but not a big deal. The person with the ball can run right out of the way, and we'll try one more dodge probably, because I don't want to get mighty blowed. There we go. And the ogre moving isn't such a big deal. The ogre's probably going to go somewhere here. It's a good position for him, but overall he can't really do much at the moment. And as you can see, there's 5 pieces, 6 pieces maybe well out of position. So he got the ball away nicely, if I do say so myself. So the way I've set it up, I've kind of forced 130 to take a risk if he really wants to stop the ball. And it looks like a risk he will take. Absolutely. Failed the GF5, we got a reroll. And that's fair. And That's a blitz option, makes sense, but failed to dodge. Now this is where I made a mistake. I didn't actually need any kind of support here. I could have blitzed the catcher off, done, but I forgot he was strength 2. So I'm going to try and add a support piece I just don't actually need. Safety first though. Yeah, that's a failed GFI. Didn't even need to take it, but... Well, wasn't thinking very clearly and forgot about the team build, so fair enough. It doesn't actually give 130 too much, to be honest. He's still only got that catcher on the ball. The thrower can almost get there, but he needs to GFI to do so. I think he can get there actually with GFIs. And anything else has to dodge, so... That mistake didn't affect me too much, honestly. And he's trying to dodge through the tackle zones anyway, which is fair enough. But he failed. Actually means that the Berserker can do what he was planning to do before, for free this time. But I'm going to move the things that can move on their own first. Just to be safe. Because I don't have any rerolls. And push will do. If he doesn't go down, I'm going to have to score. And he doesn't, so don't have a choice to stall. Let's run it in. I may take a block or two first, actually. Yeah, to be honest, I could have just scored. I didn't need to take the block, but it was just one block, so alright. And there we go, evening out the field. You go, Blizzard. Oh yeah. Well, humans can win turn touchdown. I don't know if 130 has the skill to do so, but they certainly can. And he has a full team, so it's not impossible. The Riot is obviously also a bit of a problem, so hopefully we don't get any of those kind of kicks or situations. I'm going to set up specifically to counteract a one-turn touchdown. And also deal with a Riot if it comes. The Yeti position-wise can probably be in a better place, but because of his disturbing presence, he's exactly where he should be. Stopping most of these people from having their normal pickup chance, and a Riot comes, so that's really bad news. 2 turns in which I've got to stop him from scoring. Shouldn't be too hard, but he showed in the first turns that he can be incredibly aggressive, and he's going to do something similar here. And just by doing that, he already has 3 scoring threats. These 2 aren't easy, I grant, but they are threats nonetheless. Meaning that my only real choice is to stop the ball, as opposed to stopping the receiver, or at least making it very difficult for the ball. And that's scoring threat number 5. The Ogre succeeding is slightly problematic, but I'm surprised there was no follow-up because he's left my Yeti free. Especially considering that the Yeti still has disturbing presence on these 6 players. And that's a bad foul for me. He's not coming back, I don't have an Apo, so bye-bye Berserker. And referee still says no. And the ball's going to stay out of the way. I'm basically going to set up multiple interception chances for now and try and knock out this blitzer. If I can knock out this blitzer, I can get the runner down here at least, but failed anyway, so never mind. Have to rely on a bad roll from one or a good roll from me now. And this is getting laggy. It's probably because the update is happening right now, so if I do have to come back to the second half later, I will. And it seems to be picking up again. Alright, here we go then. Yeah, you go, Yeti. Snowflake Intercept. That's good actually, that's 1 SPP for Snowflake as well, so he can even potentially get MVP and level up off this match. That'd be nice. Give him Mighty Blow early. Obviously I can't do anything with the ball, so all I'm going to do now is take a couple of blocks. And that'll be the end of my turn. After that. We'll use Yeti himself. There we go. Failed. There's an Ulf down here who can do a 3-2 dead block, and then we're done. We got an injury back. It's not a very good trade for me, Berserker for lineman, but, well, it's something. 10 for 10 at least. Oh, one thing I didn't mention as well, I do have a Bloodweiser babe, because I was 60k down in this game. Because my team was fresh and 130 was after 1 or 2 games. I guess 1. I guess he was TV 1000 plus Apo. No, actually there's no Apo. Okay, so I don't know, but obviously there was a level up somewhere. You didn't pay that much attention. Alright, so it's going to be my pickup, and we're going to try and play a very slow second half, just keeping control of the pitch, though if my numbers start to dwindle I'm going to have to push harder for the scoreline. That is a realistic fear as Norse, that you will lose numbers, especially against a team that has a similar strategy or has a bash strategy against you. Well, perfect defense is not good news, and that's a really crap kick, second crap kick for me. Well, we're going to lay our main line of defense here then, with that crap kick. And of course, the main line of actual defense is also going to be counter to this kick specifically. Oh, that's a bad scatter. Or a good scatter, in 130's case. I'm going to leave the throw over here because he has left a gap, so I'm going to try and use it, but it's going to take me a couple of turns to get it, probably. Although basically the ball is just too dangerous here at the moment, so I have no choice but to move it. And I'll use the runner to do so. Even if I do fail the pickup, hopefully it falls behind and we're fine. It didn't fall behind, so that's good. And Yeti is free, so we'll use him with the blitz. Excuse me. I'm actually kind of sacrificing him as a foul option here as well, because I'm kind of hoping to keep these pieces over on this side of the pitch. I'm not following there because at the moment he's in a good position to defend the ball. And I can move this guy a bit further back to help out there. It's quite secure, nothing's breaking through easily. And 2 armor breaks, that's nice. Really nice actually. KO and a stun, I'll take that. And 130 is taking the bait. We're going to try and knock out the Yeti. The Ogre though has kind of seen the double bluff obviously. So at least the Ogre's in position. He's going to be the hardest one to move later, so that's a fair piece of movement right there. And I guess we're knocking out this piece. He has to foul with a blitzer. That's kind of good for me, especially if the foul fails and the bribe does too. No such luck. But I'm pretty safe off the back of that foul. There's 5 pieces that are well out of the way. Don't even have to worry about them. And I remember this piece had strength 2 now, so I'm blitzing it. And I'm going to try and make a little gap over this side of the pitch. That's fair. Can't do much with that then, so let's just bring the ball over here instead. Bit slower than I would have wanted, but it will have to do. And when that goes through the middle, probably one of these 2 spaces. Yeah, and off comes back 2. Now I can imagine the humans are going to go back like this, though I'm kind of hoping that the chance to foul the piece again is going to be too tempting for one to turn down. Though he may take a foul here instead because it's slightly safer, and it looks like that was the plan, but he failed the block. So the foul comes. And there goes Snowflake. Well, that's a shame, but I'll take it for now. Clever defense here from 130. He's left 5 people bang smack in the middle, so they can go wherever they want. It's a really good play, actually. He's obviously seeing what I'm going to do. And, well, like I say, if it's down to he wants to foul this piece, it's maybe not great play. But let's assume that he did that by design. If so, that's really good play, because he can see that I'm just pushing him back and forth all the time. Yeah. And the plan there was, of course, to move this piece down, move everything over the opposite side of the pitch. Come on. And when we move everything over to the opposite side of the pitch, the ogre's out of position. That was the main job, but it failed. I did that first though, because the ball's already secure where it is. So he still has to break through the defense I originally set up. Moving the defense first and then attempting the block, if the block failed then, it would have been much worse. To be fair to him as well, he is threatening my positionals, he's not threatening the lineman. You probably noticed that I'm trying to protect the ball, not protect positional necessarily. I've chosen mostly to neglect the bribes. They're not really helpful to my personal strategy, so I'm not using them. And removing the ball and the team to the opposite side. Just trying to make a dent in this armor of his. This defense isn't really as strong as the other one though. And I can't afford for this to fail, so at least that doesn't. Yeah, better where it was. And failed another dodge. Ouch. Yeah, I don't really have the numbers now, so I'm going to have to push for a score this turn or next turn. It's going to be the idea now. This is my final setup, I'm going to have to push forward. And I think 130 knows this, as he's sending pieces in reserve as opposed to only on attack. It also kind of looks like he's neglecting to foul this turn, which is maybe sensible. Or maybe not, because he's pushing me in between 3 pieces. No, foul's coming on the elf. To be honest, I'm not really a big fan of fouling as a strategy in general, but I think 130 used it pretty well. Though he has kind of left me too many options to get away throughout this game, and I'm going to use this one as best I can now. Though it may take me a couple of turns to pull it off. That needs to come off, so that's an obvious reroll. And failed again. Not awful, but definitely not ideal, especially if the ogre does actually manage to activate. If the ogre boneheads, that'd be great. No. That's fair. It's good defense from 130, sending pieces up back first. He can see now that I have a really real scoring threat off the back of this. Just trying to get the ball off the pitch, which is very fair. And gets an injury for good luck too. Bye bye Blizzard. And that's a really bad ball. That's an awful ball for me. It's a great ball for him. I don't really have an answer to that, especially if he manages to pull off a pass here. Which he'd be mad not to try. Yeah, of course he's going to try. And it worked. And the catch. Well, fair play. I think it was the best play in the circumstances, to be honest, so I don't begrudge him that pass at all. I'm back on defense now and I don't have the team to defend with. It's not good news. Maybe it would have been better off keeping the thrower slightly forward. I haven't really left myself a scoring threat here. Well, this piece, but it's going to take him 2 turns regardless. And the ogre is behaving very well. I've got to give him credit there. My only real scoring threat now is the Ulf, so if he stays standing I can try it, assuming that, well, I guess the inevitable dodge to score doesn't work. We're not standing anyway. We'll still dodge and score though, I guess. 1 works, 2 works, 2-1. Well done. That may have looked insane, but to be honest I think it was good play. From 130. I don't begrudge him that at all. He had a small opportunity and he took it and it worked. So, well done. Just the 1 KO coming back is a little bit helpful, but not enough if I'm way too many players down. So, at least there's only a 2-man deficit as opposed to a 4-man deficit. And I've got 2 turns to return score. Definitely not impossible. I need to set it up so I'm ready to score though. And that's what I'll do. I'm going to force this side. 3-man blockade. Person with the ball. Here. And 2-turn score. I'm going to reroll. It definitely helps. Let's make the blockade right away. We'll blitz the Ulf, getting rid of this guy. This guy will be the 3rd part of the blockade. Pass is good. Catch is good. Don't need the reroll yet. this guy in support just in case the first block doesn't work. It did though. Wee. Now 130's best defense, if the ogre comes through, it'd be pretty easy. If the ogre doesn't come through, never mind, the ogre comes through, so it'd be pretty easy. Just piece here, piece up here. Can't stop him. Have to roll in order to score. The basic principle is if he has two pieces that I need to break through, then I'm not going to score. So that's probably what we're going to see happen. There's one, and if this one blitzes this piece, there's two. Yep. We can even move the ball back once, we have to GFI twice. And also get this piece. And never injury. One more lineman's gone. None of them have been permanent yet, strangely. We have one miss next game on the Berserker, but that's it. Double skull, there's the reroll. That's better. Well, it took a long time to think about this, but I decided that hitting this guy was the best option in the end, after knocking out the ogre, of course. Okay, ogre down, this guy in support, ball this way, push this way, and run through. That's the best odds. However, I misclicked the push, and that makes it very difficult. And failed the first dodge anyway, so no matter what happened, that wasn't going to work, but the misclick was a little bit painful. But it happens. Not much the humans can do now to do a little bit of damage, so that's going to be what happens here probably. And then we'll end this game a very deserving 2-1 to 130. And we can pass as well actually. Yeah, there we go. May as well get the SPP when we can, especially with a reroll. No, good game 130, it was really good. Honestly, really good. It was one of the best games I've played in a while actually in terms of playing properly. I've had a lot of fun in many games, but that felt like a real game again. I haven't had a real game in a long time, where I felt like I should be having a real game, so thank you for that. I don't really care too much about the results because it's not a league game or anything, though I do want to have a quick look at the team after that game. And going to push the Apothecary, of course, haven't done that yet. And we haven't really got a lot of SPP, just a little bit. 2 linemen, got a little bit. Thrower got 2 passes, and well, just SPP around the board a little bit. I'm actually intrigued as to how yet he got 2 SPP. He got 1 for the interception. What was the other one for? That's really weird actually. How did he get 2? Well, whatever. That's it for this game. We've got 3 more games up. Against the ReBBL Rookies, I'm playing Squiggy. Against the ICBVL, I'm playing Andes. And against Mad Academy, I'm playing Sir Madness himself. They'll be coming up soon. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.